Hi, my name's Ian. I'm a dad, I'm an engineer, I've done some business, and I enjoy talking about this topic. So I'm making another video. Um, this molecule, nitrogen and hydrogen, some people will call it nitrogen power, some people will call it ammonia. This might be the end game. This might be how we prevent catastrophic global warming. This molecule that we can make it with green power. We can fuel everything. And the transition to this might be relatively painless. And that's the amazing news. So the other day I was talking with a guy who develops green power projects. And I was telling him, hey, you can make this. And here was his reaction. All right. Well, I don't have a video of it. I'll just tell you the story. He went, ah, right. I mean, this guy's in the industry. He makes wind turbines all the time. But the problem with green projects, problem with power projects, is there's no secondary market for power. What do I mean secondary? I mean, if you have power in a cable, if the grid can't take it, you're done. There's nowhere else for it to go. I mean, sort of there is in Ontario, we can end up dumping it in the US. Often we pay them to take it. I mean, that's not a great solution, right? So this lack of a secondary market means you can't overinvest. If you overinvest, I mean, you just can't, you need this stuff working, but the demand is variable. So then you end up having to burn fossil fuels and things like this. So ammonia, being able to make nitrogen power, right? So you put electricity through water, hydrolysis, make the hydrogen turn into ammonia. Reason you do ammonia is it's easier to use. You can ship it safer, easier, store it. That secondary markets, you have your green power, you supply the grid when it needs it, and when it doesn't, you make fuel. That changes everything. And that's really cool. So, but I want to talk really about how this flexibility really matters. Okay? So this is a chart of car price, and car price increases over the years. And you'll see when we get to 2020, it just goes boom. That's COVID supply chains, that's lack of chips. But like a system that isn't flexible has massive oscillations, right? And those massive oscillations, they kill demand, they kill supply. They make it hard to build a market, hard to transition to a new technology. So like when you're betting on batteries, okay, when you say, oh, batteries are the future, I want to be very clear. This is the bet you're making. You're parlaying this. You are simultaneously making these 5 bets, okay? You're betting copper. You're betting the copper supply will double, zinc, double, chromium, 4 times, graphite, 10 times, lithium, 10 times. All right, you're betting all those things happen at the exact same pace. And what do I mean by, I mean the same pace, because if they don't, okay, if you bring on a new copper mine, a bunch of new supply, but there's no new demand because you can't get the lithium, do you know what happens to the copper price? It falls to the floor. Cancel projects, cancel. So unless you have the lithium to make the battery, unless you have the graphite, chromium, zinc, unless you have all of those, you don't need the copper. All right. So you need all of these things across the world in totally different regimes and governments and supply chains. You need all of these things to grow at the same time. And if they don't, mines go bankrupt. Right. So this bet on batteries is the bet on supply chain is, and yeah, I mean, markets adapt, but like, so flexibility is key. This is what I'm saying. So if these batteries weren't so specific, if you could use nickel or lithium, it changes things a lot. If you can trade off inputs, changes things a lot. And like the secondary market for green power, if you can sell it C into the grid or D into making ammonia, it creates it eliminates shocks to the system. Okay, so nitrogen power, ammonia, where is the demand for it? Well, already we use an unbelievable amount in agriculture. So if you need to sell it, you can always sell it and supplant the gray stuff that's already existing. It's chemically the exact same, but it's made with natural gas. So you could always sell it into the agricultural system. But you can also, in Japan, they're running power plants on it. They've converted trains to work on this and trucks. They're working on tractors. They're working on airplanes. They're working on automobiles. So as the supply grows, right, you're not relying on one customer. It can go over here or over here, over here or over here as projects come online. And in fact, many of these applications are blended, right? So some power plants, they're designed so that they can run on 0% ammonia up to 100%. So just depending on the price of the input and depending on the supply access, so that flexibility means that you don't have any shocks. It's easier. Corn is a bit like this, right? It can be fuel or it can be food. If the price of oil goes crazy, it's going to be mixed much more into the fuel system. If the price of food goes crazy, you'll use it to feed cattle and it won't go so much into the fuels, right? There's actually an interesting story that I just find interesting. Chicken McNuggets are only possible because of flexibility in the feed. So in the 80s, they developed this thing and they thought it'd be great, but they couldn't have the price on the menu bouncing all over. So they went out and they approached a guy who later became famous, right? So this guy, Ray Dalio, after doing chicken McNuggets, went on to run the largest, most successful hedge fund in the world. So with the chicken nuggets, what studying the chicken market, he figured out was chicken farmers, if corn gets too expensive, they'll substitute millet or something else in. So by hedging the food for the chickens, he could hedge the chickens and he could level out the price, and McDonald's could have a consistent price on the menu, right? So it's only possible because of the flexibility. There you go. So, here's some motors that just specifically speak to the flexibility. This is a marine engine, and it can run on mixes or 100% of a whole lot of fuel. So it can run on diesel, ship crude, natural gas, ammonia. It can run on all sorts of things. So if you buy one of these ships and you're working in a region that has ammonia, great. And if you want to sell it, get something new or something, you can still sell it globally to other people who only use diesel in their region. Okay, it's flexible. You can take that ship and sail it somewhere else. And that means you're not pricing this only against ammonia ships. You're pricing it also against the diesel ships, right? So it just has this giant market, lots of buyers, lots of flexibility in use. This is a really neat product made by Cosworth, like the F1 engine guys. They have this range extender, right? So it's for like a plug-in hybrid. But this range extender, similarly, can run on blends of fuels or a range of fuels. You can put alcohol in it. alcohol and petrol, diesel, ammonia, hydrogen. You can put all sorts of stuff in and it works, right? So that flexibility means if you go up to the cottage, put whatever's available in, right? And this is sort of the cautionary tale, right? Toyota developed this car. It's a brilliant car. Everyone likes it. It works. It has revolutionary technology in it. But right now, as I make this video, they're offering $40,000 discounts on it. It's a hydrogen. It only runs on hydrogen. You have to have a special pump to fill it up. There's only 55 stations, and in fact, they're closing 7 due to lack of demand. And so, yes, it's amazing, and yes, it's technology, and yes, it's green, but going from 0 to like global, because there's no flexibility in the plan, might prove not to work. So there you go. So in summary, ammonia, green power, green fuel for green electricity offers a secondary market. So that means green electricity is far more financially viable. Good, right? Great, let's green the grid. And then using it as a fuel, because there's so much flexible technology coming out, because it can offset diesel, because it can offset natural gas, because it can offset in use, right? Rather than using 100% natural gas, you could blend it in. Rather than using 100% diesel, you could blend it in. Rather than using coal, you can blend it. Because you can do that, it allows for the demand to grow without big shocks, right? Without needing perfect markets. So there you go. That's my good news for the weekend.